in your opinion, who's the best fighter in the world?
At one particular time, I did talk about, I did say Terrence Crawford.
If I could take a prime Terrence Crawford, this is how much I believe in this kid, and a prime Floyd Mayweather, with all the tools that Terrence Crawford has, I will pick Terrence Crawford to beat a prime Mayweather any day of the week. Because of the skill set, Max.
Do you care about things like that? Do you care about being ranked in the pound for pound? Is that also a target, a dream?
For me, no. For me, doesn't matter. For me, pound for pound, number one is Terrence Crawford. I like this man. It's a great fighter. He's a terrible, tough boxer. For me, I'm maybe number 17.
Oleksandr Usyk, what he just said, he said what real boxing fans have been knowing for the better part of almost the last 10 years, that Terrence Crawford has been the number one pound for pound fighter. And that's why it always takes somebody from the outside to come in to speak the truth about boxing, because this is why I say the UK and over there in Eastern Europe, their outlook on boxing is way more pure than Americans. Over in America, they must keep up the persona of Mighty Whitey. You know what I'm saying? Not to offend anybody, but that's basically what it is. You know what I'm saying? Jake Paul is a direct conclusion of that, you know? So they always have to keep up the image. You know what I'm saying? And with them, that is most important. But real boxing fans have been saying Terrence Crawford was number one back when they was calling Vasily Lomachenko pound for pound number one. As a matter of fact, Vasily Lomachenko told the American media 7 years ago that Terrence Crawford was pound for pound number one.
But the reporters, the people, the fans, they should vote who's the number one.
Who do you think's number one right now?
Кто ты думаешь сейчас номер один?
Я думаю, что это Crawford.
So that's Usyk right along with Vasily Lomachenko telling you that Terrence Crawford is pound for pound number one. Yet over here in America, it's such a big debate. And the reason why that is because they have a problem with a black man, black fighter, whatever you want to call it, occupying the number one spot, you know? And people don't like when you bring it up, but you have to bring it up because you can't break down why you see what you see in boxing. You know what I'm saying? But that's just the way it is. But this is why people over there in the UK and, you know what I'm saying, across the way, just have a more pure mindset when it comes to boxing. They just appreciate it more. They don't have as many hangups as we do in America. And that's the primary problem with the American fighters, because other than that, there is no thorough, tough, highly skilled Caucasian males coming out of America. None. Absolutely zero. They always have to come from the UK and across the pond. America don't produce great white champions. They just don't. They have to come from another country. And in America, they rather support people from another country because they look like them rather than supporting their homegrown fighters. Over in the UK, for the most part, they don't care what you look like. You're from the UK, you from the UK. They support you. Point blank, period. This is why getting love over there and having them appreciate you is way more important in boxing than having America. And this shows you just how lopsided America is. And yes, it goes this deep. You know, but nobody should be shocked. Real boxing fans have been saying this from the beginning. And historically, heavyweights have never been on the pound for pound list. Never. We didn't start putting heavyweights on the pound for pound list until Tyson Fury. But at the same time, this is also why they won't come up with a definitive criteria of what consists of a pound for pound fighter. We could have been flushed it out and gave it rules. okay, they got to do this, they got to be this, they got to be that, they got to be, but they don't want to do that because then you will be able to narrow it down without argument. And they don't want that. You know what I'm saying? As long as people was calling Vasily Lomachenko pound for pound #1, nobody had a problem with it. For 4 years straight, nobody have a problem with it. The second Terrence Crawford name creep up in that category where it was rightfully supposed to be the whole time, then it's all this. Then everybody's blowing a gasket, primarily the Mexican fan base. Everybody's blowing a gasket. Oh, he's not this, he's not that. And I've been calling them out. I was like, hold on. When they was calling Vasily Lomachenko pound for pound #1, I didn't hear nothing from the Latino/Mexican fan base. You guys wasn't upset. You wasn't mad. You wasn't making no videos. You wasn't protesting. You wasn't acting angry. But the second the Terrence Crawford name start to move up where it's rightfully supposed to be, then everything's an argument. You know what I'm saying? America is just that jacked up. You know what I'm saying? And one of the primary fan bases of boxing is just that prejudice at the end of the day. This is why I stand what I stand by when I talk about Latino fighters, commentators, trainers, or whatever else. You know what I'm saying? Now, that doesn't include the entire Latin diaspora. You know what I'm saying? You know who you are and you know your groups better than I know your groups. So you know I'm not lying. But this is the primary problem. But yes, Terrence Crawford is pound for pound #1. And he's been pound for pound #1 for quite some time. You know what I'm saying? He's even told he's pound for pound #1 by your favorite fighters. You know what I'm saying? Now, the clip you seen of Loma, that was Loma before the American public started to feel his head and he started to feel himself. When Loma came over here, Loma was very humble. Loma was very honest. But it's only so much of all that gas and you can take. Eventually, you're going to start sniffing it. You know what I'm saying? And that's just what happened to him. So partially what happened to Loma is the American public need to have somebody that look like him be the best fighter. And face it, he was biting off some of that. And Lomachenko even admitted that. You know what I'm saying? That he stopped being humble. He started to feed into everything else. He even admitted that. But they always was trying to paint him like he was this and like he was that. But the first time you seen heavyweights on the pound for pound list is with Usyk and with Tyson Fury. Other than that, you don't see no heavyweights really gracing on lists like that. You know what I'm saying? That's traditionally, that's not how the pound for pound list goes. You know what I'm saying? But as you can see, it's even a problem with just being honest in America. You know what I'm saying? When you think about it, when it comes to these subjects, people from the UK can handle my content way better than any American. You know what I'm saying? Even if they don't want to admit it, they still handle it better than Americans. Americans got to cry. You know what I'm saying? They got to go left field. They got to talk crap. You know what I'm saying? They got to try to insult you or something like that. At least from the UK, if they do have something to say, they will articulate themselves in a way where they recognize that what you're saying is true, but they tell you why they feel what they feel, which is all welcome over here. But when it comes to Americans, they got to go straight gutter. You know what I'm saying? And that's why it sucks over here. But everybody know Terrence Crawford is pound for pound #1, and he's been pound for pound #1 for quite some time now. That's my thoughts on this. Like, comment, subscribe. Bruce Van, I'm out.